For me, it's an essence. It's just something that is a deep sense and almost an embodiment.
Faith is like heart-based knowledge rather than mind or logic-based.
I was not able to understand what life was all about. It didn't make any sense to me until I understood faith. Faith actually makes complete sense to me of all of this. And without faith, I can't make sense of it.
At a core level, faith simply is. It doesn't grow or expand or contract. It simply is.
Some people find faith when they associate or they follow something bigger. That's religion, right? When you associate or resonate profoundly with a God, someone higher than you. My faith is not of that kind. I have faith in my ability to love.
Surrender to me speaks so much of trust. It reminds me of that awful physical somatic experience you can have, which I'm interestingly terrible at, where people stand in a circle and hold hands, and you're supposed to be able to just fall, and you have to trust that they will catch you, and it's very interesting seeing in your body if you can surrender to being caught by strangers or friends or a bunch of people at a festival or whatever it is. And to me, that's surrender.
Can you discuss the difference between that and faith?
I think faith exists in surrender. Other way around. I think surrender exists in faith. I think in order to have faith, there is a surrender. There is a surrender and a trust.
We're talking about whether the trust game that Emma's discussed.
Yeah.
When she falls back into somebody's arms, does she have faith that they're there, or does she surrender to them, to the moment? Which is it? In your reality, it's not
Faith.
right.
Faith that they're there. And to me, it would be surrender, i.e. we don't know if they're going to be able to catch her or not, but she's going to let go anyway and have a go.
But I mean, surely the game would be perfect if the penalty for being wrong was death. I mean, that would be the game.
I've not played that one.
Well, but if you were playing that game, then would it be surrender or faith? So if you were playing the game and the penalty was death, you'd be demonstrating faith that you weren't going to die, that you
or surrender to the fact that I don't have an attachment.
It's not actually that conceptual or theoretical. There are moments when you do have faith that your friend is not going to let you die.
Just being in a car, for example. We were just
being in a car, for example.
Driving analogy, yeah.
Yeah.
And when I can tune into that feeling inside, that force inside, I feel like I can accomplish anything, like I can transform reality out of this faith that I have, that I can extend this state and change the world. So having faith for me is that it's so powerful that it's able to make reality bend.
Self-confidence and trust to life, and it deep knowledge. It live in the deepest center of heart.
I believe that quantum mechanics is the demonstration that whatever is in your mind is what you create. And if you put faith in your mind by a decision or a surrender, whichever is your choice, then what comes out is just you. And that actually checks out with every bit of my experience. So I've only been able to make sense of the world by factoring in faith. I don't see it as non-rational at all, or irrational or foolish.
My instinctive understanding of faith, which is by its very nature something that is unknown. At the point where you can know it, it's no longer faith, because you have proven it in some way, shape or form. And throughout all of my ups and downs of giving my faith to things that were not worthy, the unwavering knowing in my being that my spirit, my soul is eternal. And so as such, there is no fear of death, remains unshaken.
Well, for me, faith is a way of living that's got to do with emotions mainly and feelings. So it's a way of knowledge as well. If you see life as a way, like in the Eastern traditions that they see everything like a way, then faith is one of those ways. And I believe for me is one of the hardest ones.
If prayer is an expression of faith, then it is not fanciful hope, the surrendering of personal authority to an imagined higher being. It's the articulation of our appreciation for what we truly expect to come to pass. Also, it's the antidote for self-pity, blame, and guilt, replacing these dark thought forms with the light of optimism, self-confidence, and sovereignty of being.
So for me, it starts off as a feeling, and then embodying it, and in all the mystery that comes with it, which is hard for the human mind to kind of deal with that. But if you can tap in, even in small moments, like you can touch that magic.
James, I would like to know, what is your opinion about faith? What is it to you, faith?
It's a very important concept and much misunderstood. Hazrat Inayat Khan, who's the key inspiration for Western Sufism and very popular in Asia as well, but he, whose teaching I followed for quite some time and still do in a way, made the connection between self-confidence and faith. In fact, he said that you cannot distinguish between faith and self-confidence. And I would like to go a little bit further than that and say that you could add in optimism to that, and you could add in luck as well, because I think all of those things align and tie up. Basically, you're not really having faith in God or in Christ or in any religion at all. You have faith in yourself, and you have faith in life. And the faith that you have in life is that even though there are ups and downs in life, everything always turns around to your advantage. The future is certainly always better than the past. That's the faith that you have. And it's not an arising, it's not a bubbling up of a eureka experience. Oh, I've seen the light, now I know. It's not that. It's a decision. It's a discipline of mind. You approach every situation and you know that there's something in there. In every dark situation, you know there's the light. And you look for that because you've got faith. Your faith is that you can always find the light in any dark situation. And because you know that it's there, and that's your faith, you know it's there. You believe it, you understand it, you know it to be true, it's consistent with your experience. It is the case that there is light here. And so you look for it. And then you awaken that magic power, seek and ye shall find. Whatever you look for is what you find. So if you look for light, you will find light. And the opposite is true for some sad people. They don't have faith. They don't look for the light. They notice the darkness. They look for greater darkness, and that's the life they create for themselves. And those people, sadly, aren't in my life. I don't share my outlook with them. I associate with lucky people, with optimists, with people who are always turning it around, so that every situation has that light, what do they call it, the silver lining around the cloud. I think that's what faith is.
When we accept another's opinion, we have belief. When this belief is beyond personal doubt, it's conviction. And when there is objective proof, then we have knowledge. Yet faith is a deeper experience than these, where we trust the heart to know what the mind cannot fathom. Perhaps our gut instincts inform our awareness, yet the resolution of belief into faith requires a decision. It sets us free, free from doubt, free from uncertainty, free from confusion.
Knowledge without words, knowledge about what all is unity and form of light, and I trust to this knowledge.
That is just a sense that the existence we play out in our physical bodies is not the point, and that when we are not here, we still are, we still exist. There is still an essence, an eternality, if that is even a word, that never goes away.
For me, faith, it's a state of being. It's not a feeling, and it can start with your beliefs, but it's not a belief. It's something bigger, wider.
It's hard for me to completely lay into that, but when I can get myself in that alignment to that essence of it, then the magic comes through from it as well. So it's almost, so faith also has this magical piece. You know, we love that, right? In this group, we're exploring the magic, right? And so to me, faith also has this magic about it, because when you have faith, like, everything is possible.
So when you say that, I've seen this somewhere, or I read it in your website, that there are numerous opportunities in the astral plane, and then as soon as you take that, you make a choice, that becomes truth, and all the other options that were possible, they collapse and they are no longer true. So how do you think that ties up with faith? Because your perspective on faith seems that it is empowering. We have now the power to choose. So having faith makes us able to choose what is it that we get from life.
Okay, I mean, let's say you're in a situation where there are 1,000 probable outcomes. This is quantum reality. In every moment, there's 1,000, there's 100,000, a billion, an infinite number of probable outcomes. And let's say that one of those possible outcomes is light, and that's the one you give your attention to. Then that's the one that collapses into the facts of the matter now. All the rest don't exist anymore. As soon as you've chosen to believe in what you choose, and let's hope that's an optimistic choice, then all the rest of the options that theoretically were available are not, they don't exist anymore. They're just not.
And how about when you find yourself in a moment of weakness, in a moment of doubt? What happens to all the options? Do they all collapse? Do they all disappear?
It is, of course, the case that we're imperfect in our faith. We can always be a little bit more so. If we could live in total faith, then we could walk on water. And it wasn't only Jesus that's recorded as doing that. This is apparently a practice that Sufis do. And I've actually seen masters of Kung Fu do impossible things. I've seen somebody stand on eggs, for example, myself in Hong Kong, I saw it once. So what we consider to be impossible isn't impossible when you have sufficient faith. But each of us, normal people, shall we call it, we don't. So we can perfect our faith. And what happens when we have an imperfection in faith, what you called a weak moment, then what we want actually is to manifest something that we don't want, ironically, so that we can see wherein lies our weakness and then deal with it. We couldn't deal with our problems, our weaknesses, unless they were shown to us. And this is the fundamental purpose of the physical realm, that we come up against the imperfections of our being. The shadow self is what we call it. And we want that. That's what we want. That's why we came.
So how can we perfect our faith?
Deal with whatever comes up. If you've got a problem, deal with it.